in the living room of the Fu family villa. The lights were so harsh they blazed into one's eyes, just like Fu Tingwen's face at this moment, cold enough to shed ice shards. He sat in the very center of the genuine leather sofa, a thin check folded between his fingertips, yet it looked like a knife capable of piercing a person's heart. His eyes carried not a trace of past tenderness, only impatience and resolve. I stood opposite him, still wearing the high-end dress he bought me yesterday, but at this moment, in his eyes, I fear I'm not even worth the roadside weed. Sign it. Food. Tingwen spoke, his voice devoid of any warmth, as if discussing a trivial matter. 1 billion is enough to ensure you never have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of your life. Leave the city and never appear again. I followed his gaze and looked at the coffee table where a drafted divorce agreement lay. Party A is food. Party B is Su Ching Yen. The terms were written clearly. I voluntarily give up all Fu family property, taking only this 1 billion in cash, and from now on in marriage and divorce, we will be strangers to each other. Behind this agreement stood a woman I know all too well. Sairu. At that moment, Fu Tingwen's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, and the frost on his face melted a little. He answered the call in a voice so gentle it could be squeezed out of water. Yo, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? From the other end of the phone, Camia's silky voice, though I couldn't catch the exact words. The sticky tone made me feel nauseated even from several meters away. Fu Tingwen listened patiently, occasionally answering with, "Okay, good," or "It'll be right there." After hanging up, the look in his eyes toward me grew icer, even a hint of disgust. "Yo is pregnant," Fu Tingwen said frankly, as if it were something worth flaunting. "It's a boy, the eldest grandson of the Fu family. I cannot let him be born into an incomplete family. Such Ching Yen, we part on good terms. Don't make things hard for me. Friends with benefits and a clean break. Who was the one chasing after me, saying they'd love me for a lifetime, promising I'd be the happiest woman in the world. Now, after turning around because another woman is pregnant, they want to sweep me out and make it sound so pompous. I sneer inside, but I don't show a hint of it on my face, calmly picking up the pen on the table. Fingertips, not even a tremor. 1 billion deposited into my account in one go. I asked. My tone is flat, as if I were asking about the weather today. Fu Tingwen froze for a moment, as if surprised by how readily I behaved. He thought I would cry, cling, and hysterically question him, but he forgot that such Ching Yen, am never the kind of woman who sticks around stubbornly. Since he is so heartless, why should I leave him any face? Moreover, I carry his 2 seeds in my belly. That billion is nothing more than an advance alimony payment. I'll have finance transfer it right away. Fu Tingwen said, picking up his phone and dialing his assistant. Transfer the billion to Su Qing's account. Now immediately. Not long after hanging up, my phone received a bank notice of the deposit. Looking at the string of zeros on the screen, a barely perceptible smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Fudon, do you think this billion can buy my youth? Buy everything between us? You're wrong. This is only the beginning. I will make you understand how high a price one must pay to betray me. Such Ching Yen, can you sign now? Fu Tingwen urged, his impatience in his eyes growing more obvious. I didn't answer. Instead, I picked up the divorce agreement and read it carefully page by page to make sure there were no traps. Fu Tingwen clearly couldn't wait for me and reached out to grab it. I've had a lawyer review the agreement. There's nothing wrong with it. Sign quickly. Why the rush? I raised my hand to dodge his grip, my tone laced with a hint of sarcasm. Master Fu is so eager to marry Songyaru into the family that isn't afraid the child in her womb might not be yours. Fu Tingwen's face instantly sank and his gaze turned vicious. Such Ching Yen, stop talking nonsense here. Yaru isn't a woman like you. She is pure and kind. She could never betray me. Looking at how he protects Songyaru, I only find it ridiculous. Siru is pure and kind. If it weren't for her deliberately drugging me at the banquet and then taking those ambiguous photos to send to Fu Tingwen, how could Fu Tingwen have formed a misunderstanding about me? And how could he have given her a foothold? I've seen all these things with my own eyes. I just can't be bothered to expose them. Is that nonsense? You know it in your heart. I stopped talking nonsense with him, picked up the pen, and, at the position of the divorce agreement, signed my name stroke by stroke. Su Qingyan. The moment I finished signing, Fu Tinyuan visibly breathed a sigh of relief as if he had unloaded a heavy burden. He picked up the divorce agreement, looked at the signature, nodded with satisfaction, then handed it to the assistant beside him. Keep it. Take care of the follow-up procedures. Fu Tingwen. I suddenly spoke up to stop him. I hope you won't regret it in the future. Fu Tingwen turned back to glance at me, his eyes full of disdain. Regret? I, Fu Tingwen, have never known how to spell the word regret in my life. Take care of yourself. After finishing speaking, he left the living room without looking back, presumably in a hurry to accompany his so-called pure and kind Song Yaru. Watching his resolute silhouette, I slowly raised my hand and gently placed it over my lower abdomen. After Fu Tingwen left, only Chinmo, his assistant, remained in the living room. The air still carried a guay-along perfume smell on him, mixed with Song Yaru's sickly sweet perfume, making my stomach churn. I instinctively pressed my hand to my lower abdomen. Those two little ones there seemed to sense my discomfort as well, moving faintly as if comforting me. Cha Nimo had been Fu Tingwen's most long-time assistant, usually taciturn and meticulous. He picked up the divorce agreement on the table, carefully slipped it into the file bag, then looked up at me, his tone carrying a hint of politeness. Miss Su, for the subsequent divorce registration formalities, I will arrange someone to coordinate with you when would be convenient for you. Tomorrow morning. Then I spoke flatly, not wanting to stay a second longer in this villa filled with betrayal. Tell me the location once you've decided and send it to my phone. I'll go there directly. Okay, Chinmo nodded, then added, President Fu says, if you need your personal items in the villa to be packed, he can arrange the housemaids to help or just cash them out for you. No need. I waved my hand, my gaze sweeping over the ornaments in the living room that used to symbolize our happiness, and I felt no trace of nostalgia. I don't want any of those things here, and you don't have to give me the cash from the cash out either. 10 billion is enough. Chanio froze for a moment, probably not expecting me to be so straightforward. After all, in the past, I always valued Fu Yuan's belongings, especially. He didn't say more, only said, then I'll take my leave first. I'll contact you tomorrow, and then turn to leave. After Chinmo left, I immediately went back to the second-floor bedroom, locked the door, and rummaged from the bottom drawer of the wardrobe to pull out a black folder. Inside was the pregnancy test report I had secretly done at the hospital 3 days ago. The report clearly stated, early intrauterine pregnancy, twins. That line is my biggest secret now and the source of my future revenge. I carefully placed the pregnancy test report into my pocket purse, then began packing. I didn't open the large suitcase. I simply found a small carry-on suitcase containing only a few changes of clothes, documents, and some commonly used skincare products. I had no desire to take any of the villa's belongings, whether it was the luxury brand bags and jewelry that Fu Tingwen gave me or the memories-filled photos. Those things used to be my pride, but now they are knives stabbing into my heart. Even a second glance makes me nauseous. After packing, my phone suddenly vibrated. It was a message from an unknown number. I opened it, and sure enough, it was Song. Yaru, sister, thank you for leaving wisely. Brother Tingwen is treating me so well now. In the future, Mrs. Fu will be mine. You just take the 10 billion calmly and go live the rest of your life somewhere no one knows you. The message was accompanied by a photo in it. Siru leaned into Fu Tingwen's arms, her hand lightly resting on her belly, a self-satisfied smile on her face while Fu Tingwen looked down at her, his gaze gentle enough to drown someone. I looked at the photo, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. My fingers tapped a few times on the screen, but I didn't send anything. I simply deleted the message and then blocked the number. Siru, the more pride you have now, the more you'll suffer later. Let's wait and see. That night, I didn't stay overnight at the villa. Instead, I found a 5-star hotel not far from the airport and stayed there. I used my newly registered phone number to contact the lawyer I had arranged through a friend earlier. When the call connected, I went straight to the point lawyerly. I'm Su Qingyan, the matter I mentioned before. Can we start the process now? Miss Su. Hello. Lawyer Lee's voice was steady and reliable. The 10 billion funds you mentioned have already come in. I've transferred them to a private account in Switzerland. It's absolutely safe and will not be traced by anyone. Good. I breathe a sigh of relief. That 10 billion is the guarantee of my and the children's future life, and also my capo for revenge, so it must be flawless. How are the arrangements for the place in France and the hospital coming along? They're all arranged. Lawyerly replied. A manor on the outskirts of Paris. Quiet environment. Security measures in place. Suitable for carrying a baby. The hospital is France's best private obstetrics hospital. I've already booked the most authoritative obstetrician for you. When you arrive, you can go there directly. Thank you for your hard work. Lawyerly, a warmth flowed through my heart. It's a relief that even in my toughest times, there are people willing to help. Also, please keep an eye on the movements of Fu Tinyuan and Saru, especially regarding their wedding. Tell me at the first sign of any news. No problem. Lawyer Lee answered immediately. Miss Su, you can rest assured. I will follow up throughout and won't miss any important information. I hung up the phone and booked a business/first class ticket for the afternoon of the next day to Paris. A long flight, more than 10 hours in total. Enough for me to avoid the divorce registration liaison arranged by Fu Tingwen. I'm not planning to actually go through any divorce registration with them anyway. Besides, the divorce agreement has already been signed. Fu Tingwen, eager to give Cinyero a standing, would naturally try to speed up the divorce formalities. I just need to disappear completely so they can't find me. The next morning, I deliberately turned off my phone and only turned it on again at noon. Sure enough, I received several messages from Chanimo asking why I hadn't gone to register for the divorce and saying he had been waiting for me in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau for a long time. I didn't even look at them, deleted the messages directly, packed my luggage, checked out, and took a taxi straight to the airport. At the airport, I checked in, passed through security, and sat in the first-class lounge, watching the crowds come and go. Outside the window, feeling incredibly calm. Then my phone rang again. It was Fu Tingwen calling. I hesitated for a moment, but answered anyway. Such Qingyan, what on earth are you up to? Fu Tingwen's voice was filled with anger on the other end of the line. Why haven't you gone to file the divorce registration? Are you regretting it and hoping to extort more money from me? I couldn't help but laugh. Oblique, re-laugh. Fu Tingwen, what do you take me, Su Qing Yen, for since I signed the divorce agreement? I won't waver. As for the divorce registration, figure it out yourself. I'm no longer in this city. How dare you say that? Fu Tinyuan's voice rose a few tones. Incredulous. Where did you go? Where I go? I won't trouble President Fu. My tone was icy. Anyway, we're already divorced. From now on, you walk your sunny road. I tried my single plank bridge, and there will be no relationship between us. I wish you and Songu a long and harmonious marriage after I spoke. I didn't wait for Fu Tinyuan to respond. Directly hung up the phone, then turned off the mobile and put it into my handbag. 2:00 in the afternoon. The plane took off on time. When the plane pierced through the clouds and headed toward faraway France, I watched the cityscape outside the window shrinking away. I felt no reluctance, only relief and anticipation for the future. Fu Tinyuan Suru, do you think I'll vanish with $1 billion in my pocket, never to appear before you again? You're wrong, very wrong. I'm leaving now to come back better with my 2 children to give you a gift you'll never forget. When you're at your most glorious and most triumphant, the airplane was cruising steadily at 10:000 m. I leaned against the seat, closed my eyes, and in my mind, the 2 little ones appeared. One resembled me, the other Fu Tingwen, but they all have the surname Su. They are my Su Chinese children with no relation to the Fu family. The dozen odd hours of flight passed quickly, and when the plane landed at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, it was already after 8:00 in the evening local time. The driver arranged by loyally had long been waiting outside the airport. As soon as he saw me come out, he hurried to take my luggage, respectfully saying, "Miss Sue, welcome to Paris. I'm here to take you to the manor." Sitting in the car, watching the dazzling night scene on the streets of Paris, the foreign charm temporarily made me forget the domestic troubles. The car drove for more than an hour and finally reached the manor, located in the suburbs. The manor was large, surrounded by lush woods and wide lawns with fresh air and a quiet environment. Indeed, a good place to nurture the fetus. The driver helped me move the luggage into the room, then briefly introduced the manor's facilities before leaving. I sat alone in the spacious living room, looking at the moonlight outside the window, gently stroking my abdomen and soft-spoken, "Babies, we're home. This will be our home from now on. Mommy will protect you. When you're born, we'll give Dad and that bad woman a big surprise together." The early morning in Paris always carries a faint floral scent. The roses and the manor are in full bloom, dew hanging on the petals, crystal clear, just like my current calm yet powerful mood. I was awakened by the bird song outside the window. I opened my eyes as sunlight streamed through the white lace curtains, casting dappled light on the floor, warm and cozy. After waking up, I took a stroll on the lawn of the manor. The air was filled with the fragrance of fresh grass and soil. Taking a deep breath, the suppression and grievances I had accumulated back home seemed to be swept away by this refreshing air. The manor's housekeeper was a kind-hearted elderly French woman named Marie. She had already prepared breakfast: golden crispy fried toast, fresh fruit, warm milk, and freshly baked croissants, their fragrance wafting invitingly. "Miss Sue, good morning." Mary smiled at me, her Chinese not very fluent, but enough for us to communicate. "The weather today is nice, good for getting out more, which is good for the babies." "Thank you, Mary," I replied with a smile, picking up a croissant and taking a bite. The exterior was crispy and the interior tender, absolutely delicious. "I'm planning to go to the hospital for my first prenatal checkup later. Mister, we should have told you." "Right, yes, Miss Sue." Mary nodded. "The driver is waiting at the door. He'll take you to the hospital and wait for you outside when you're finished." "Okay." I quickly finished breakfast, went back to the room to change into loose, comfortable clothes, picked up my handbag and the prenatal test report, and followed the driver to leave. The hospital, arranged by lawyerly indeed, lived up to its name. Elegant surroundings, attentive service, and nothing like the crowded, noisy hospitals at home. I registered under the appointment name, and the nurse greeted me warmly, guiding me to undergo all the tests. The obstetrician was a lady named Anna, who was experienced, patient, and carefully performed an ultrasound for me. "Ms. Sue, congratulations. Both babies are very healthy." Dear Anna pointed to the 2 tiny gestational sacs on the ultrasound screen, smiling at me. "You see, this is the elder one. This is the younger one. Their heartbeats are strong and their development is very good." I looked at the 2 faint yet clear heartbeats on the screen, and my eyes instantly welled up. This is my child, my most precious treasure in this world. No matter what difficulties I encounter, I will protect them and ensure they come into this world safe and healthy. "Doctor, what do I need to pay attention to?" I asked, holding back tears. "You're in good health and don't need to worry too much." "Dear," Anna handed me a detailed list of pregnancy precautions. "Keep a cheerful mood, eat a balanced diet, exercise in moderation, and attend regular prenatal checkups all your pregnancy throughout. If you have any questions, you can contact me at any time." After the inspection was over, the driver took me back to the manor. Just as I returned to the room, my phone rang. It was Attorney Lee calling. "Miss Sue, is your prenatal checkup going smoothly? The babies are all healthy, right?" Lawyer Lee's voice carried concern. "Very smooth, Lawyer Lee. Thank you for your concern," I replied with a smile. "Both babies are fine. The doctor said their development is very healthy." "That's good," Lawyer Lee breathed. a sigh of relief, then changed the subject. By the way, Miss Sue, I'm calling you to brief you on the domestic situation. Fu Tingwen and Siru have been making big moves recently. Fu Tingwen has publicly announced Song Yara's pregnancy and said they will hold a wedding next month. The ceremony will be very grand, inviting many social elites and dignitaries next month. I coughed an eyebrow, calculating the timing in my head. I'm currently 3 months pregnant by the time their wedding comes around. I'll be just over 4 months pregnant, and by then the paternity test results for the twins should also be out. Perfect timing. Yes, the exact date is set for the 18th of next month. Lawyerly continued. Fu Tingwen even rented the entire banquet hall at a 5-star hotel in the city center and invited the media to broadcast the event live throughout just to declare to everyone that Siru is Mrs. Fu. Also, Samru has been very high profile lately, often attending various events, wearing jewelry Fu Tingwen bought for her, and she's been posting her pregnancy daily on social media, receiving a lot of blessings, truly riding a wave of luck. Is that so? A cold smile quirks at the corner of my mouth. Sinaru, go ahead and flaunt yourself to your heart's content. In a month, I will make you fall from the clouds to the bottom and show everyone your true face of hypocrisy. Miss Sue, there is one more thing. Lawyer Lee's tone grew serious. I found that Samru was not as pure and kind as Fu Tingwen claimed. Before meeting Fu Tingwen, she had dated several boyfriends and even acted as a third party, breaking up other people's families. I have collected some evidence, and if you need it, I can disclose it on their wedding day. No need lawyerly. I shook my head. Keep the evidence for now. It's not the right time yet. What I want is not to ruin her reputation, but for Fu Tingwen to see with his own eyes that abandoning me and choosing Songyara was such a stupid decision. I want him to lose the thing he desires most at his moment of greatest pride. I understand what you mean, Miss Sue, lawyerly said. Then I'll continue to keep an eye on their movements and tell you at once if there's any news besides about your 1 billion funds. I've already helped you invest in a few low-risk, high-return projects, and they're already yielding some profits. I'll report to you regularly. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Lawyerly, I said, thankfully. You just take care of the financial matters. I trust your professional ability. After hanging up, I walked to the window and looked at the roses blooming in the manor. The flame of revenge in my heart grew stronger. Fu Tingwen Saru, your good days are almost over. On the 18th of next month, I will deliver a wedding gift that will make you remember it for life. In the days to come, I lived a regular and contented life every day. In the morning, I walked on the lawn, breathed in the fresh air. In the late morning, I read, listened to music, and did prenatal education for the babies. In the afternoon, I would either take a nap or learn to cook French cuisine with Mary. At night, I would talk to the babies, tell them stories about mom and dad. Of course, I only told the good parts, the parts about betrayal and hurt. I would wait until they grow up to tell them slowly. Mary takes very good care of me, preparing nutritious meals for me in all kinds of ways every day to ensure I and the babies get enough nutrition. She also walks with me, telling me about the customs and culture of Paris, letting me feel the warmth of home in a foreign land during this period. Lawyerly called me several times, each time bringing the latest news about Fu Tingwen and Siru. Their wedding was becoming increasingly grand. Fu Tingwen bought Siu a wedding dress valued at hundreds of millions and a diamond ring the size of a pigeon egg, and even bought her a luxury villa in the suburbs as their wedding gift. Song Yuru was utterly elated, not only posting her wedding dress and diamond ring on social media, but also saying in interviews that Fu Tingwen is the man she loves most in this life, that their love is a match made in heaven, and that the child in her belly is the hope of the Fu family. Every time I hear these words, I just smile faintly. Fu Tingwen, the more you do on Sinaru now, the more disappointed you will be in the future. Sinaru, the more triumphant you are now, the more painful you will be later. What you owe me, I will reclaim bit by bit, in the most unforeseeable way you could imagine that day. I was strolling in the manor when I suddenly felt a light flutter in my lower abdomen. I stopped and gently caressed my belly, a happy smile spreading across my face. The babies were moving. They must have sensed their mother's mood and were cheering me on. Babies, Mommy loves you, I whispered, my eyes welling up again. Wait a little longer, and we can give Dad and that bad woman a big surprise. Then they will know that betraying us comes at a cost. The fluttering in my lower abdomen is becoming more noticeable, as if two little guys are responding to me. I know they are my strongest backing. With them here, I fear nothing. As days passed, the wedding of Fu Tingwen and Song drew nearer. I had already contacted a domestic paternity testing agency and sent them a strand of hair that Fu Tingwen had left with me. It was something I secretly cut from him before the divorce, when he wasn't paying attention. I didn't expect it to come in handy. Now I sit on the terrace of the manor watching the distant sunset. The sunset has died, the sky a vivid orange red. Incredibly beautiful. I take out my phone and send a message to Lawyerly. Lawyerly, please keep an eye on the results of the paternity test report and tell me immediately once it comes out. Also, please help me understand the detailed schedule of Fu Tinyuan and Cyrus' wedding. I need to ensure that my gift reaches them at the most appropriate time. Not long after, Lawyerly replied, Miss Sue, don't worry. I've already contacted the paternity testing agency. They'll inform me as soon as the results come out. I'm also looking into the wedding process, and I'll tell you the moment I have any news. The evening breeze in Paris carried a chill. I wrapped myself in a thin blanket, sat on the terrace with a cup of warm milk in my hands, gazing at the distant stars in the sky. Lawyer Lee had just sent me a pile of about Fu Tingwen and Sanam wedding preparations. Opening it, the luxurious scale completely refreshed my understanding and made me even more certain that their wedding would be the most perfect stage for my revenge drama. Among the materials Lawyerly sent were photos of the wedding venue. Fu Tingwen had booked the top-tier domestic 5-star hotel, the Yinding Hotel's top-fall banquet hall. The entire hall had been renovated with white and gold as the main color scheme, luxurious and ostentatious. It is said that the renovation alone cost tens of millions. In the center of the banquet hall stood a huge wedding stage with a backdrop of a flower wall made of tens of thousands of white roses. In front of the wall was a crystal champagne tower, and beside it was a gigantic LED screen reportedly to play Fu Tinyuan and Ceo's love story throughout the wedding day. In addition to the venue, there were photos of Song, yes, wedding dress. It was a gown personally tailored by an internationally renowned designer with a skirt train up to 10 m long encrusted with tens of thousands of small diamonds that flashed under the lights, allegedly worth up to 50 million. The veil was even more extravagant, 15 m long, requiring 8 bridesmaids to support it at the same time to walk. Saru also posted close-up photos of the dress on social media with the caption, Brother Tingwen is so good to me. This is the wedding dress of my dreams. Thank him for giving me a fairy tale wedding. The comment section below is filled with blessings. Some say they are a match made in heaven. Some envy Cyrus for marrying into a wealthy family, and others curse me for not knowing how to appreciate good things, insisting I should divorce rather than stay away from Mrs. Fu. Looking at those comments, I only find them ridiculous. These people do not know the truth of the matter at all. They casually accuse others based on Cyrus' one-sided statement on the wedding day. I will make them understand who the real joke is. Lawyer Lee also told me that Fu Tinyuan invited nearly 500 guests for this wedding, among them domestic social elites, business magnates, and entertainment stars. He even hired the most famous wedding planning team and photography crew in the country and invited reporters from television stations to broadcast the entire ceremony live just to let the whole world know that Fu Tinyuan has married Siu and the child in Cyrus' womb will be the heir to the Fu group. Miss Sue, there's something more outrageous, Lawyerly said over the phone with a touch of anger in his tone. Cyrus gave an interview to a domestic entertainment media yesterday. In the interview, she deliberately smeared you, saying you resent her because you cannot bear children and that you used to frequently lose your temper at home and be unfil to Fu Tingwen's parents. Fu Tingwen could no longer bear it and divorced you. She also said that taking away 10 billion is natural because it is your rightful compensation. Oh, I raised an eyebrow, not a trace of anger in my heart, but finding Suniru increasingly ridiculous. She's really good at flattering herself and not afraid of slipping her tongue. Yeah, as soon as her interview came out, many internet users who don't know the truth started insulting you, saying, "You're a vicious woman who doesn't deserve food." Tingwen loyally said, "Food Tingwen not," only didn't clarify, but after the interview ended, he reposted Song Yaris' interview video with a caption, "Yaru is a kind and simple girl. I will always protect her and our child. Let the past stay in the past. Protect her forever." I sneered, "Food Tingwen, how sweet your words sound now. In the future, when you slap your own face, it will hurt all the more loyally. Thank you for telling me this. I understand now. You don't need to pay attention to those online comments. The clean will remain clean. And by the wedding day, all the truth will come to light." "I understand," Miss Sue loyally said. "By the way, the paternity testing agency just called me and said the samples have been tested. The report is out, and the results show that both babies are indeed Mr. Fu Tingwen's biological sons. They've mailed the report to you, and you should receive it in about 3 days." Excellent. A surge of excitement rose in my heart. The paternity test report is the key to my revenge. With this report, an S wedding will be completely turned into a farce. No problem. Miss Sue, I've already talked with the courier side. They will prioritize delivering your package and won't waste any time. Loyally said after hanging up. I looked down at my slightly protruding belly, a confident smile on my face. Fu Tingwen Seru, the grand wedding you've orchestrated with so much effort will soon become a nightmare you'll carry for life. I will make sure all the guests attending the wedding and all the netizens watching the live stream know your true colors and how you betrayed me and climbed to power by stepping on me. In the following days, I kept an eye on Fu Tinyuan and Sonaris' every move. Suniru was becoming more and more high profile, posting daily about the wedding preparations on social media, trying on bridesmaid dresses, videos of selecting the wedding cake, even flaunting the luxurious villa and sports. Karu Tinyuan bought for her parents, as if to show everyone how well she married. Fu Tinyuan also showered Sonaru with affection, not only accompanying her to try on wedding dresses and choose rings, but also turning down all his work to accompany her abroad for a vacation, cynically called a pre-wedding trip. Their photos were captured by the media with reports about their angelic love everywhere, overwhelming in scope, and I, meanwhile, lived a calm and fulfilling life in France. Mary cooked all kinds of nutritious meals for me every day, ensuring that I and the babies received enough nourishment. I kept up my daily walks, listened to music, read books, and did prenatal education for the babies. Sometimes I would sit on the lawn looking at the blue sky and white clouds, imagining what the babies would be like after birth, imagining the expression on Fu Tingwen's face when he received the paternity test report, and my heart burned with anticipation. That morning, I was strolling in the manor when my phone suddenly rang. It was the courier calling, saying my international parcel had arrived and I needed to sign for it. I knew it was the paternity test report. I immediately asked Mary to sign for the package at the door, feeling both nervous and excited. Not long after, Mary came over with a sealed courier bag in her hand and handed it to me, saying, "Miss Sue, your package has arrived." I took the courier bag, my fingertips slightly trembling. I took a deep breath and carefully opened the bag. Inside were 2 identical paternity test reports. The cover of the report read, "Paternity, Test Opinion below," which was the name of the testing organization and its official seal. I opened a report, and the contents inside were clear and straightforward. DNA testing confirms a biological relationship between Fu Tingwen and Suyani Susing, with a paternity probability of 999%. Seeing that line of words, I was moved to tears. This is not just a report. It is my weapon for revenge, and it is the guarantee for the future life of me and the babies. Fu Tingwen Saru, your good days are over. I carefully put the paternity test report away, then called loyally. I've received the paternity test report, and the results are as we expected. Great. Miss Sue, Lawyer Lee's voice also carried a hint of excitement. So, what should we do next? When should we send the report to Fu Tingwen? No rush. I smiled and said it's not the time yet. I want to wait until their wedding day at the most crucial moment to deliver this report into Fu and Yuan's hands, so that he'll be humiliated in front of all the guests, and so Cyra's dream will be completely shattered. I understand what you mean, Lawyer Lee said. Then I'll arrange the courier right away to ensure the report can be delivered to the banquet hall of Yuning Hotel on the morning of the wedding and handed directly to Fu Tingwen. Okay, Lawyer Lee, I said. Be sure to keep it confidential and not let Fu Tinyuan and Sinuru know any news in advance. Also, please help me confirm the exact wedding schedule. I want to know which segment is most suitable to present this gift. No problem. Miss Sue, Lawyer Lee agreed at once. I've already arranged for someone to obtain the wedding schedule. The wedding will officially begin at 200 p.m. that day. First, the couple will enter, then exchange rings and take vows, followed by speeches from both sets of parents, and finally the toasts. I think delivering this report after the ring exchange and before the vows would be most appropriate. That moment is the wedding's climax, when all the guests' attention is focused on them, and the effect will be okay. Do as you say. I nodded with satisfaction loyally. Thank you so much this time. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to prepare all this so smoothly. Miss Sue, you're too kind, Lawyer Lee said. This is what I should do. I'm glad to help you seek justice. Rest assured, I will arrange everything properly and won't make any mistakes. After hanging up, I walked onto the terrace and looked at the distant Eiffel Tower, my heart full of anticipation. 10 days to go. Fu Tinyuan and Sia's wedding. Then I will make them pay a painful price for their betrayal. Let them know that I, such Qing Yan, am not easy to bully. The two little ones in my belly seemed to sense my mood too, giving a gentle kick as if cheering me on. I smiled, stroking my belly, softly, saying, babies, just 10 more days, and we can give Daddy and that bad woman a big surprise. Then, Mommy will let everyone know how precious you are for the next 10 days. I count down every day. I imagine the scene on the wedding day, the shock and despair when Fu Tingwen opens the paternity test report, Sonara's collapse into tears, and the moment when all the guests are discussing it. My heart fills with a sense of satisfaction, and Fu Tingwen and Siru are still immersed in the joy of getting married. Searu continues to post her happiness on social media every day, while Fu Tingwen is busy hosting guests who come to attend the wedding. They both think this wedding will mark the start of their happy life, but they do not know that this is only the beginning of their nightmare. 3 days before Fu Tinyuan and Sonara's wedding, the weather in Paris suddenly turned cloudy, and it began to drizzle. I was leaning on the sofa, listening to prenatal music for the baby, when a wave of downward pressure suddenly came from my belly. It was initially mild, but within a few minutes, the pain grew more and more intense, and cold sweat instantly covered my forehead. Mary, Mary. I endured the pain and shouted loudly for the butler. Mary, hearing my voice, ran over immediately. When she saw me in pain, her face changed. Miss Sue, what's wrong? Are you going into labor? I don't know. My stomach hurts so bad. I gripped the sofa armrest tightly, in so much pain that I can't finish my sentence. Mary, after all, has experience, immediately calmed down while helping me take my coat and said, Miss Sue, don't panic. I'll have the driver take you to the hospital now. Dr. Anna, I've already contacted in advance. She will wait for you at the hospital. The driver quickly pulled the car over, and Mary carefully helped me into the car all the way. I trembled with pain, clenching my teeth tightly with only one thought in my mind. Babies, hold on. Mom will definitely protect you. The car sped all the way and soon arrived at the hospital. Dr. Anna was already waiting at the door with a nurse. Seeing me arrive, she immediately instructed the nurse to push me into the delivery room. Miss Sue, relax a bit. You are having contractions now, and the babies are coming. Dear, Anna said while examining me, gently comforting me. Your cervix is opening smoothly and your physical condition is good. You will surely have a successful delivery. I nodded, following dear Anna's guidance. adjusting my breathing and coordinating with the rhythm of the contractions. The pain grew more and more intense, and I felt as if my body were being torn apart. But thinking of the two little ones inside, my belly filled me with renewed strength. I don't know how long had passed when a loud cry suddenly echoed in the delivery room. Dear Anna's voice carried joy. They're out. The first baby is out. It's a handsome little prince. Hearing the babies crying, I was suddenly moved to tears, and all the pain seemed to dissipate like smoke. Soon after, within just a few minutes, the second baby was also born, smoothly, likewise, with a loud cry that echoed through the delivery room. The second baby is here too, also a little prince. Miss Sue, congratulations. You have successfully given birth to a pair of twin sons. Dear, Anna said with a smile. The nurse brought the two little ones to my side. They were small, their skin wrinkled, their eyes closed, their mouths still twitching. Absolutely adorable. I stretched out my trembling hand and gently stroked their little faces, whispering, Babies, welcome to this world. Mommy loves you, dear. Anna gave me and the babies a comprehensive checkup, confirming that we are all very healthy, and then said, Miss Sue, you are really brave. Delivering twins is much more exhausting than delivering a single baby, and you did a great job. Next, you will need to stay in the hospital for observation for a few days. If there are no problems, you can be discharged. Thank you, Dr. Anna, I said gratefully, for without her expertise and care, I could not have given birth to the baby so smoothly. Mary waited outside the delivery room, thrilled to hear that I had a successful birth. She immediately cooked rich and nutritious chicken soup for me and helped take care of all sorts of things. After staying in the hospital for 3 days, I brought the two babies home from the hospital and returned to the manor. Mary had already set up the nursery, pink walls, a soft crib, and a wide array of baby supplies, all complete and cozy. I gave two babies names. The elder is Sueanci, the younger is Su Xingran. Both share my surname. Cianci is quiet and well-behaved, while Su Xingran is more lively. The two little ones look very alike, but their personalities are completely different. The day after being discharged from the hospital, I contacted the local notary office and went with the baby's birth certificates to have them notarized, and the birth certificate. The father's column was blank. The mother's name was my own, and the baby's surname was Sue, which means that, legally speaking, they are only my children and have no relation to Fu Tingwen at all. After the notarization was completed, I specifically kept a few strands of the baby's hair, placing them together with Fu Tingwen's hair as spare paternity test samples, just in case once everything was arranged. I gave Lawyerly a call to share this good news. Lawyerly, I have good news to tell you. I successfully gave birth to a pair of twin sons, and they are both healthy. Congratulations, Miss Sue. Lawyerly's voice was full of joy. That's wonderful news. These two babies are such luck. How is your body now? Do you need any help? I am in good health. Thank you for your concern, I said with a smile. Mary has been taking good care of me and the babies. No need to trouble you. By the way, how are the preparations for Fu Tingwen and Samaras' wedding going? Has my gift been arranged? Everything has been arranged, Miss Sue Lawyerly said. Finingwen and Sanairu's wedding is tomorrow. All the guests have arrived. The media are prepared. We're just waiting for the live broadcast. I've sent out the paternity test report by anonymous courier, and according to our previous agreement, it should reach Fu Tingwen in time for the wedding climax tomorrow afternoon. Great. Wonderful. A surge of excitement rose in me. Tomorrow is Fu Tingwen and Sanira's wedding, and also the crucial moment for my revenge. Lawyerly, please, during the wedding tomorrow, keep me updated on the situation. I want to see how they look when they receive the gift. No problem, Miss Sue. Lawyerly agreed immediately. I've arranged for someone at the wedding site to relay messages to me in real time, and I'll tell you at the first moment. Hanging up the phone, I hugged Suyani. Mary hugged Su Xingran sitting in the living room, looking at the two sleeping babies. A cold smile curved at the corners of my mouth. Fu Tingwen Suru, tomorrow is your wedding, and it will also be the beginning of your nightmare. Everything you've toiled to obtain will soon turn into a bubble, and I will make you understand that betraying Su Chin Yen will come at a painful price. In the evening, after feeding the two babies and getting them to sleep, I sat on the balcony, watching the rain outside. The rain was still dripping as if it were heralding the prologue to tomorrow's vengeance drama. I picked up my phone, opened social media, searched for food, Tinuan and Sonu's names. The coverage about their wedding tomorrow filled the feeds, and many netizens were staying up late discussing it. Looking forward to tomorrow's live stream, Saru even posted a new update, a photo of her in a wedding gown with a caption, "Tomorrow I'll marry the person I love most." Looking forward to starting a new life with Tingwen and also hoping our baby will be born soon. The comments below were still full of blessings. Some said they must watch the live stream tomorrow. Others said they would witness this once-in-a-century wedding. Looking at those comments, I only felt irony. By tomorrow, these people's attitudes will completely change and they will find their blessings today ridiculous. I turned off my phone, took a deep breath, and the fresh scent of rain hit my face, making me more alert. Tomorrow I will be here with my two babies, witnessing Fu Tinyuan and Sinaira's crushing defeat. I believe it will be the most satisfying scene I have ever witnessed in my life. It's late at night. I return to my room, lie on the soft bed with two sleeping babies beside me. Their even breathing fills me with indescribable peace and happiness. I gently stroke their little heads and whisper, "Babies, tomorrow, Mommy will fight for justice for you. That irresponsible father and that bad woman will pay for what they've done. From now on, Mommy will work hard to give you the best life so you can grow up healthy and happy." After speaking, I closed my eyes as well and fell into a deep sleep. In the early morning of Paris, the rain had stopped. The sky gradually cleared and sunlight pierced through the clouds, casting shimmering light across the manor's lawn. I woke up early, not to an alarm, but to an unstoppable mix of anticipation and excitement in my heart. Today is the day Fu Tingwen and Song Yaru hold their wedding, and it is also the final moment of my revenge plan. I quietly stood up, afraid of waking the two babies sleeping beside me. Xianqi and Sush Xingran were sleeping soundly, their little mouths slightly open, and from time to time they would wrinkle their brows, cutely making my heart melt. I bent down and planted a kiss on their foreheads, softly saying, "Little ones, today is a special day. Mommy will make that irresponsible dad and that bad woman pay the price they deserve." Just finish washing up. Mary walked in with breakfast, smiling and saying, "Miss Sue, good morning. The weather today is really nice, just like your mood indeed." "A good day," I replied with a smile, picking up a slice of toast and slowly eating, though my heart was constantly keeping track of the time back home. Paris is 6 hours ahead of the home country, and it's already afternoon there. Fueying Yuan and Sonia Russ' wedding should be about to start. Sure enough, after just 2 bites of breakfast, my phone rang. The call was from Lawyer Lee. "Miss Sue, good morning." Lawyer Lee's voice carried with it a hint of unease. "It is currently 1:30 p.m. domestic time. The wedding venue at Yending Hotel has already been decorated. Guests are arriving one after another. The media's live broadcast equipment is all set up, and we're just waiting for the couple to walk in." "I know," I replied calmly, though the action of twisting the fork in my hand unconsciously sped up a bit. "What about Fu, Tinyuan, and Searu? Now have they arrived at the scene?" "They've arrived," Lawyer Lee said. Fu Tinyuan is dressed in a white suit looking spirited as he stands at the door greeting guests who come to offer congratulations. Siru is wearing that gown worth 50 million yuan, flanked by 8 bridesmaids, touching up her makeup in the lounge with a smug smile on her face. Just now there was a reporter who caught them holding hands, and it's already online. The comments are all blessings. Is that so? A cold smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Feeling smug, will you sorrow in a little while you won't be able to smile anymore? Then where's our gift? Any news from the courier? Can it be delivered on time? Don't worry, Miss Sue. Lawyer Lee's tone was very confident. I just specifically checked with the courier. The package has arrived near Yending Hotel and is moving toward the banquet hall. At this speed, it will absolutely be handed to Fu Tingwen at the peak of the wedding. I've arranged for people on site to be in position. He will monitor the whole process to ensure the courier goes directly into Fu Tingwen's hands and won't be intercepted by others. Good. Well done. I breathe a sigh of relief. The hanging worry finally eased. Have the on-site staff keep an eye on Fu Tingwen and Sonaris expressions and tell me of any situation immediately. Also, send me the live stream link. I want to see this century wedding in person. No problem. Miss Sue, after finishing, loyally sent the live stream link to my WeChat. I've sent you the live link. You can just click it to watch. I'll also keep you updated with the real-time on-site situation. You can rest assured. After hanging up, I immediately opened the live Linkley lawyer sent. The screen soon displayed the Yending Hotel banquet hall. The entire venue was luxuriously decorated. The main colors white and gold, a wall of tens of thousands of white roses, and that enormous crystal champagne tower, all signaling the wedding's extravagance and flamboyance. The live footage scanned over the guest seats, all of them well-dressed celebrities and powerful figures, many of whom often appeared in financial news and entertainment magazines. They gathered in small groups, chatting with smiles on their faces, looking forward to this wedding. Not long after, the live feed suddenly shifted to the entrance of the banquet hall, and the host's voice rang out. Dear guests, dear friends, good afternoon. Welcome to the wedding of Mr. Fu Tingwen and Ms. Sinuru. Now, let us give the warmest applause to welcome our most handsome groom today, Mr. Fu Tingwen. As the host's words fell, a round of enthusiastic applause erupted. Fu Tingwen walked in wearing a white suit, his face lit with a smile. He stood tall, his features handsome, indeed possessing a certain captivating charm. I once was completely enchanted by his appearance, giving him all my heart, only to be betrayed and abandoned in the end. Looking at Fu Tingwen's triumphant expression on the screen, there wasn't the slightest ripple in my heart, only full of scorn. Fu Tingwen, how happy you are right now. You'll be completely shattered when you receive my gift. Later, the host began to speak again, next with an even warmer round of applause. Please welcome our most beautiful bride today, Ms. Seru. The music instantly softened, and Sunyaru, wearing a wedding dress studded with tens of thousands of tiny crystals, slowly stepped in, accompanied by 8 bridesmaids. Her dress train dragged on the floor, and the veil fluttered with the breeze. Looking truly like a princess from a fairy tale, a smile spread across her face, and pride glinted in her eyes. She would occasionally glance up at Fu Tingwen, and that clingy look made my stomach churn. What a fox spirit! I couldn't help muttering under my breath, reaching for the glass of water on the table, and taking a sip to calm the nauseating feeling in my stomach. The live camera closely follows Sangu, capturing her wedding dress and jewelry in clear detail. The comment section erupts in astonishment, full of praise for Song Yura's beauty and envy at how well she married. This wedding dress is just too beautiful. It's practically the wedding dress of my dreams. Sanaru is so lucky. President Fu is so good to her. A match made in heaven. A perfect couple. Blessings to them. That ex-wife is so lacking in sense. Letting such a good day slip by. She insisted on divorcing. Now, she must be regretting it. Looking at these comments, I just find them ridiculous. These people have no idea about the truth of the matter, judging others carelessly based on surface appearances when the paternity test report is delivered to Fu Tingwen. When all the truths are exposed, I want to see whether these people will still say such things. At that moment, lawyer Lee's phone rang again. Miss Sue, the wedding has officially begun. The couple is now stepping onto the stage. Next comes the exchange of rings and the vows. Our courier has also arrived at the entrance of the banquet hall and will be brought in shortly. All right, I clenched my phone, my fingertips turning pale from the grip, and excitement and anticipation in my heart reached a peak. I'm already watching the live stream. Have the people present. Keep a close watch. Ensure the package can be delivered after the ring exchange. But before the vows, don't worry. Miss Sue, everything is arranged. Lawyer Lee said after hanging up. I refocused on the live stream screen. Fu Tinyuan and Sonaru had already reached the stage center, and the host was guiding them to exchange rings. Fu Tingwen picked up a diamond ring and gently slid it onto Cyrus' ring finger, and Cyru also picked up a men's ring and slid it onto Fu Tinga's hand. The two looked at each other and smiled. That affectionate look made me feel sick. After the exchange of rings, the host picked up the microphone and with a smile said, "Next, please welcome the newlyweds to pledge their most sincere vows to each other." At that moment, the live stream camera suddenly shook. A person in a courier uniform quickly walked to the side of the stage, holding a package, and said a few words to Fu Tinyuan's assistant. Chinmo frowned, took the package, hesitated for a moment, then walked over to Fu Tinyuan and whispered, "Mr. Fu, there is an anonymous package for you that must be delivered to you personally at the wedding." Fu Tingwen was preparing to take an oath. Upon hearing Chinmo's words, an impatient look appeared on his face, and he frowned, saying, "What express delivery? Haven't you seen that I'm in the middle of my wedding? Put it aside for now. We'll talk after the ceremony ends." But the courier said, "It must be handed to you now, or there will be big trouble." Chinmo whispered with a trace of worry on his face. Fu Tingyuan's brows knitted even tighter. He glanced at the guests below, then looked at Sonaru beside him, who wore an expression full of anticipation. In the end, he still took the parcel, saying impatiently, "This is really puzzling." Seeing this scene, I clenched my fists tightly, my heart pounding with excitement. Fu Tingwen, you finally got my gift. Hurry and open it to see what treasure you personally discarded. The live camera fixedly focused on the package in Fu Tingwen's hand, and the guests below the stage all looked over with curiosity, wondering what was inside this suddenly appeared package. Cyru also leaned in with a puzzled expression on her face and asked, "Tinyuan Ji, what is it? Who sent it?" "Food." Tinyuan did not respond to Sayuru, casually tearing open the outer packaging. Inside, a white envelope was exposed. He picked up the envelope, opened it, and found two identical documents inside with large characters on the cover that read paternity test opinion or paternity test report. When he saw these few words, Fu Tingwen's face changed in an instant from previous impatience to shock. His hands trembled unconsciously, and his eyes were full of disbelief. I watched the panicked look on Fu Tingwen's face on the live stream screen, and a hint of pride curved at the corner of my lips. "Fu Tingwen, have you felt despair? This is only the beginning. The more exciting moments are still to come." Just then, Lawyer Lee's call came through again, his voice filled with uncontainable excitement. "Miss Sue, it's done. Food." Tinyuan has opened the package and seen the paternity test report. His face went pale, and the whole person stood there in a daze. The guests under the stage also started to chatter. I saw it. I replied, my voice trembling with excitement. "Keep watching. I want to know every single thing that happens next." "Okay," Miss Sue loyally said after hanging up. I looked back at the live screen. Fu Tingwen had opened one of the paternity test reports, and his gaze swept quickly across the contents. His color grew worse and worse, turning from pale to ashen and finally almost dripping in ink. His body trembled slightly, nearly losing his balance, but Chinmo timely supported him. The guests in the audience at the bottom also sensed something was off. Whispering to each other, the discussions grew louder, and the once warm and romantic wedding scene instantly became noisy. Sierra also noticed the abnormality. She reached out and tugged at Fu Tingwen's arm, anxiously asking, "Tingwen, brother, what exactly happened? What is that thing? Please don't scare me." Fu Tingwen ignored Sanyu. His eyes were fixed on a line in the paternity test report, a line that read, "DNA testing confirms that Fu Tingwen has biological ties with Su Yanzi and Su Xingran with a 999% probability of paternal relation." I can imagine Fu Tingwen's emotions at this moment. Shock, despair, disbelief, and a hint of panic. He could never have imagined that when he abandoned me and held a wedding with Songyu, I would send him such a gift. And even less imagine that I would be carrying his twins. The live stream cameras remained tightly focused on Fu Tingwen, capturing every expression on his face clearly. The comments section also exploded. The previously offered blessings vanished, replaced by a flood of questioning and speculation. What's going on? The paternity test report. Does Mr. Fu have other children? Chani Susing. Who are these two names? Could they be Mr. Fu and his ex-wife's children? God, could it be true? Mr. Fu's ex-wife is pregnant or twins. Does Samara know about this? Her expression looks so panicked. There won't be any big mishap at the wedding, right? I feel like there's a huge bomb about to drop. Watching the guesses in the comments, I feel a wave of satisfaction. That's right. This is the effect I want. I want everyone to know that what Fu Tingwen discarded was not only his wife, but also his two biological sons. I want him to lose face in front of all the guests and in front of the national audience, becoming the butt of everyone's jokes. Fui Yuan finally snapped out of his shock. He suddenly raised his head, his eyes blazing with fury and malevolence. He glared at Chinmo and shouted, "Investigate. Go check immediately. Who sent this report? Who are Su Yanxi and Su Shining? Also, where is Su Qin Yan now? Find her for me immediately." Chinmo was startled by Fu Tinga's roar and quickly nodded. "Okay, President Fu, I'll go check it right now." After finishing speaking, Chinmo turned and ran outside, and the scene descended into even greater chaos. Sairu watched Fu Ting's out-of-control appearance and glanced again at the paternity test report in his hand. Her face turned deathly pale. She grabbed Fuina's arm. Her voice choked with sobs as she asked, "Tiningji, tell me what exactly is going on. Who are Su Yanzi and Su Xingran? Is it that BTCH Su Qing Yan pulling the strings? Is she pregnant with your child?" Fu Tingwen was already full of anger and irritability, and being pressed by Cyrus' questioning only added fuel to the fire. He suddenly shook off Cyrus' hand and roared, "Don't ask. Are you annoying or what?" Cyrus was shoved by Fu Tingwen, stumbling almost to the ground. Tears instantly welled up. She stood in the center of the stage wearing a gorgeous wedding dress, yet cried like a deserted wife, looking utterly disastrous. The guests under the stage raised their voices in discussion, even more, and some pulled out their phones to take photos and videos, clearly treating this as a lively spectacle. What was originally a warm and romantic wedding had completely turned into a farce. I watched the chaotic scene on the live screen, heard Fu Tinyuan's roar and Sonara's cries, and the oppression and grievance in my heart instantly vanished, replaced by a strong sense of exhilaration. The scene on the live broadcast screen spiraled completely out of control after Sarah was pushed away by Fu Tingwen. She not only didn't calm down, but seemed to go mad, pouncing forward, snatching the paternity test report from Fui Yuan's hand, gripping it tightly in her fist, eyes bulging wide, reading it line by line from top to bottom. Her face gradually turned from pale to grayish blue, then to deathly white as paper. Her lips trembled, and she trembled all over. After only a few lines, she suddenly let out a scream, her voice sharp as nails on glass, echoing through the luxurious banquet hall and startling everyone. "No way. This is absolutely impossible," Sonia cried, slamming the report in her hands onto the ground, paper scattering everywhere. "This is all the work of that Su Qingyan. She's not willing to accept it, deliberately forging this report to ruin our wedding. Brother, Fu Tingwen, you tell everyone this isn't true." "Ci Su Xingran, I've never even heard those two names. How could they possibly be your children?" Fu Tingwen at this moment is also upset and flustered with Sonara's uproar. He is even more furious. He bends down to pick up the report on the ground, gripped tightly in his hand, his knuckles turning white from the effort. He wants to deny it, but the seal of the authentication institution on the report, the clear DNA data, and the 999% paternity probability all stab at his heart like sharp blades. He never would have expected that when Su Qinggan was getting a divorce, she was already carrying his child. and twins at that. He cannot understand why Su Qing wouldn't tell him, but instead at this moment sends the report over in this way. Shut up, Fu Tingwen roared, the ferocity in his eyes almost overflowing. This is not your place to make a scene here. But Sayuro had completely gone mad. She didn't listen to Fu Tingwen at all. Instead, she pointed at his nose, crying out, Fuanin, did you know all along? Did you deliberately keep it from me? Do you still love that be asterisk, asterisk, asterisk? Tell me, she shouted as she reached out to grab Fuina's face, her hair in disarray, the wedding dress, skirt, trampled into a mess. The image of a pure, virtuous lady before had vanished, now resembling a shrew. The guests in the audience had never seen such a scene. They all erupted in discussion. Some covered their mouths softly. Some pulled out their phones to take frantic photos and videos. And some stood up wanting to see more clearly. The originally quiet banquet hall was now as chaotic as a marketplace. Oh my God, what is going on? Does Mr. Fu have other children? Is Su Qing really Mr. Fu's ex-wife? Is she actually pregnant with twins? This paternity test report doesn't look fake. There's even an official seal on it. Sonu just said Su Qing cannot give birth. It seems she was lying all along. This wedding is too dramatic. It's more exciting than a TV drama. The media reporters were even more excited, carrying cameras, brandishing microphones, squeezing near the stage, constantly taking photos of Fu Tingwen and Sayuro, and loudly asking, Mr. Fu, is this paternity test report true? Are Su Yanzi and Su Xingran really your children? Mr. Fu, when you were dating MS Sinu, were you still in contact with your ex-wife, Ms. Such Qing Yan? Ms. Sayuro, you previously said, MS Such Qing Yan cannot give birth. Were you deliberately smearing her? The flash repeatedly flickered, clearly capturing the embarrassing scene of Fu Tingwen and Songyaru. Fu Tingwen's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He waved to his assistant Chinmo to hurry and stop the reporters, but the venue was already a mess. The several bodyguards Chinmo brought could not block the reporters swarming in. At that moment, the crowd suddenly parted to reveal a path. A few well-dressed, elderly men strode in, led by Fu Yuan's parents, Fu Hongyuan and Lu. They had been waiting in the lounge to go on stage to give remarks, but upon hearing the chaos outside, they rushed over. Fu Hongyuan entered the banquet hall and immediately saw the chaotic scene on the stage, as well as the paternity test reports scattered all over the floor. His face turned grim. He walked up to Fu Tingwen, spoke in a low voice, and asked Tingwen, what exactly happened? What is going on here? Lu also saw Sarah, who was in a wretched state, on the stage, and looked at the surrounding murmurs. Her face turned pale with anger. She pointed at Songyaru and asked Fu Tingwen, what's going on with this woman? How did the wedding become like this? What are those things on the floor? Fu Tingwen felt more flustered when his parents arrived. He picked up a paternity test report from the ground and handed it to Fu Hongyuan, his voice dry as he said, Dad, Mom, this is a paternity test report sent by Su Qingyan. It says that she is pregnant with my twins named Swenny and Su Xing. What? Fu Hongyuan and Lu exclaimed in shock. Fu Hongyuan grabbed the report and began to skim it quickly. Lu leaned in as well, their expressions growing worse by the moment, from shock to anger, then to disbelief. Nonsense. This is just nonsense. After reading the report, Fu Hongyuan trembled with rage and slammed the report down in front of Fu Tingwen. Fu Tingwen, tell me what the heck is going on. You don't know that Su Qingyan is pregnant, or are you deliberately hiding it from us? Do you have any idea what you're doing? Lu Mei also cursed you. This evildoer. I objected to your divorce from Su Qingyan from the start, and I object even more to you marrying Songyaru. You insisted on going your own way, claiming that she was carrying the eldest grandson of the Fu family. Now look, Su Qingyan is pregnant with your twin sons, 2 boys. This is the backbone of our Fu family. You have brought shame to our Fu family. Lu Meiwei grew angrier the more she spoke, turning to look at Sayuro, her eyes full of disdain and anger. And you, woman, from the start, I thought you weren't a good person. Always so delicate and pretty. You would mislead Tinyuan now, because of you. Our Fu family is making such a big joke of itself. Who knows if the child in your belly is really ours? Cyrus' face turned deathly pale from Lua's scolding. She instinctively covered her stomach and cried out, "Mother, how can you talk to me like this? The child in my belly is really Brother Tingus. It was Su Qingyan, the ***** who set me up. You can't trust her words. Set you up." Lu Mayu sneered. Now the evidence is right. Before her eyes, Su Qingyan is carrying Ting, yes, twins. And you're still arguing here. I think the child in your belly is simply a mulatto. No, not at all. Sinaru cried in distress, wanting to step forward to explain, but was blocked by the bodyguards beside Fu Hongyuan. Fu Hongyuan took a deep breath, striving to calm his emotions, and spoke in a solemn tone to the guests and reporters present. "Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, today's wedding has encountered some unforeseen circumstances and cannot continue for the time being. We, the Fu family, sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused. We will inform you of any further development separately. Now, please exit in an orderly manner." After finishing, he signaled the bodyguards to escort the reporters and guests out, but the reporters wouldn't leave easily, continuing to ask questions, and the guests were whispering and debating, doling, and unwilling to go, and the scene became even more chaotic. I sat on the sofa in the Paris manner, watching this chaotic and satisfying scene on the live stream, and I couldn't help but laugh. Fu Tingwen, Sinairu, and the Fu family, do you feel the pain now? How you treated me then is exactly how I will repay you now. Just then, Lawyer Li's call came through again, his voice filled with uncontainable excitement. "Miss Su satisfying. The scene is completely chaotic. Fu Hongyuan and Lu Mei are furious and have berated Fu Tingwen in song. Yaru on the spot. Now the Fu family members are driving away guests and reporters, and this wedding is completely ruined. I saw it clearly," I said with a smile, a wave of satisfaction sweeping over me. "Is Fu Tingan already anxious as an ant on a hot pot now? Has he found out my whereabouts?" "He found out some things, but they're all fake," Lawyer Li said. "I expected him to check you. So, I specially fabricated some fake identities and exit records for you, showing that you've gone to the United States and intend to settle there. Fuinu's people should have gone to the United States to look for you by now and won't be able to trace you to France in a short time." "Well done, Lawyer Li." I nodded in satisfaction. "That's exactly the effect I wanted. So he can't find me. Makes him anxious and makes him regret it. By the way, the information you previously found about the child in Sonu's stomach, you can release part of it now. Not too much, just a little to provoke speculation." "No problem." Miss Su loyally agreed at once. "I'll have someone anonymously publish that Sonaro has had several boyfriends and even been a mistress, so she can taste public disgrace as well." I hung up the phone and looked back at the live broadcast screen. At this moment, the live stream had already been interrupted and the screen displayed the words, "Live broadcast ended." But online, the frenzy had already erupted. Topics about Fu Tingwen's wedding scandal, Su Chinese paternity test, report being faked, and Fu Tingwen having twin sons had dominated the trending lists on major social media. Topics like hashtag Fu Tingwen wedding gossip, hashtag suching twins, hashtag you're a mistress, hashtag, and the rest were all followed by a character meaning explosive or burst. I open the hot searches, and they are all about discussions of this wedding and on-site photos and videos. There is Song Yaru's flustered, wailing, rolling on the ground scene, Fu Tingwen's ashen face, and Fu Huan and Lu Mei's angry expressions. The mood in the comment section has completely shifted. Those who previously blessed Fu Tingwen and Searo are now all blaming them. It turns out Su Qingyan is the real victim. Fu Tingwen is too trashy, abandoning his pregnant ex-wife for a mistress. Searo is actually the mistress turned wife, and she deliberately smeared Su Qingyan for infertility. So disgusting is Fu Tingwen blind. He won't keep his pregnant ex-wife who is carrying twins, yet he insists on marrying such a calculating Asterisk, asterisk. I knew this wedding felt off. Now I know why the Fu family has humiliated themselves this time. Does anyone think there's something wrong with the child in Sanyara's belly? She had so many ex-boyfriends before. Who knows whose it is? Looking at these comments, I feel a sudden surge of satisfaction. Sinuru Fu Tingwen, didn't you want everyone to bless you? Now it's done. Everyone is condemning you, spurning you. This is the rightful outcome you deserve. I turned off my phone and walked into the nursery. Chani and Sush Xingran had just woken up, kicking their little feet on the bed. When they saw me come in, the two little ones grinned. Incredibly cute. I walked over, gently picking them up, one arm for one child, and spoke softly. Xingran, did you see that irresponsible father and that bad woman have already received the punishment they deserve? From now on, Mom will stay with you, give you the best life, and let you grow up healthy and happy. The two little ones seemed to understand my words, gripping my clothes tightly with their tiny hands, their little heads resting on my shoulder, making a mewing sound, carrying them to the terrace. I looked out at the sunshine in Paris, and my heart filled with hope. This revenge has only just begun. Fu Tingwen and Sango Omi. I will get it back piece by piece until they spend their lives living in regret and pain. And I will live a happy and stable life in France with my two precious children, never to be bothered again by those messy people and matters. After the wedding was ruined, the banquet hall at Yending Hotel was a mess. Scattered rose petals, broken champagne glasses, and all over the floor were paternity test reports. Just like Fu Tingwen, shattered mood at that moment. Fu Hongyuan and Lu sat in the lounge with pale faces, and Fu Tingwen stood in front of them with his head bowed, not even daring to take a breath. Go and check it right now. Fu Hong Yuan slammed his palm on the table, his voice so loud that the windows in the lounge hummed. Find out for sure whether this paternity test report is real. Find out exactly where Su Qing is right now. Find out whether those two children, CNC and Su Xing, are really our Fu family's offspring. Dad, I've already asked someone to check. Fu Tingwen's voice trembled slightly. He picked up his phone, dialed Chinmo's number, his tone urgent and furious. Chinmo, immediately contact the institution on that paternity test report and verify its authenticity. Also, no matter what methods you use, you must find such Qingyan for me. Dig 3 feet if you have to. You must find her. Hang up the phone, and Fu Tingwen's hand was still trembling uncontrollably. He could hardly believe it. Such Qing Yan actually was pregnant with his twins when they divorced. She was so calm, so decisive, with no lingering attachment, not even a single word of persuasion. He had always thought Su Qing Yan had feelings for him no longer, but he did not expect that she would hide such a big secret. Lu sat to the side, wiping away tears continually, muttering, "My two good grandsons. How could they be wronged outside? Such Qingyan as well. Why didn't she tell us she was pregnant if we had known? How could we let Tingwen divorce her? It's all this Cyrus' fault." Speaking of Cyru, Lu Mei's eyes filled with disgust again. At this moment, Cyru is being invited by a bodyguard into another lounge. Her wedding dress had been torn to shreds. Her hair is messy, tears still on her face, looking utterly wretched. She clutched her belly tightly, filled with fear and unease. She knew that the Fu family definitely wouldn't treat her the same way as before. Now, if Su Qing Yan really was pregnant with Fu Tingwen's twins, then she and the child in her womb would be completely worthless. She must find a way to prove that the paternity test report is fake, must find a way to preserve her own position. Not long after, Qin Emo called, speaking in a heavy tone. "President Fu, I've already contacted the appraisal agency. They say that the paternity test report is genuine. The sample indeed belongs to you and the two children, with a paternity probability of 999%. Absolutely no mistake. In addition, we checked Miss Sue's exit records. It shows she went to the United States after the divorce. But when our people went to the US to look for her, they couldn't find her whereabouts at all, as if she had vanished into thin air. What? Fu Tingwen exclaimed, nearly dropping his phone to the ground. Is the report real? Did she really go to America? How could we not find her? Search again. Keep investigating for me. After hanging up, Fu Tingyuan's legs went weak and he nearly collapsed to the ground. He finally accepted the fact that Su Qingyan was really carrying his twins and that he had driven their mother away with his own hands, and she had severely humiliated him at the wedding. Fu Hongyuan, seeing Fu Tinga's appearance, berated him again in anger. Now you know to panic. Why didn't you do this earlier? I told you from the start. Su Qingyan is a good woman. You insisted on divorcing her and marrying this vixen now. It's fine. The two eldest grandsons of our Fu family are stranded outside. How do you expect me to explain to the ancestors of the Fu family? Dad, I know I was wrong. Fu, Tuan lowered his head, a trace of regret in his voice. I will definitely find Su Qingyan, bring the two children back to the Fu family and make it up to them. Make up for it. Fu Hongyuan sneered. How do you plan to make up for it? You hurt Su Qing's heart. She's now avoiding you and doesn't want to see you at all. If you can't find her, if you can't find those two children, then don't acknowledge me as your father. At that moment, Lu suddenly said, By the way, Tingwen, when you divorce Su Qingyan, did you give her $1 billion in cash? Yes. Fu Tingwen nodded. Billion. Lu M's eyes lit up. She's a woman with 2 kids. She must need money. If she has your money, maybe she's living well abroad. We can track her whereabouts through the flow of this money. Yes. How did I not think of that? Fu Tinyuan's spirits instantly lifted. He immediately dialed Chinmo's number again. Chinmo, go check Su Qing's bank accounts right now. Trace the flow of that $1 billion in cash. Through fundraising, locate her position, no matter what country or city she's in. Find her for me. After hanging up, Fu Tingyuan's heart rekindled with a glimmer of hope. He believed that as long as they found Su Qingyan, as long as they could bring the 2 children back to the Fu family, everything could still be salvaged. On the other side, Seiro, seeing that no one was paying attention to her, quietly slipped out of the lounge and found Fu Tingwen. She threw herself into Fu Yuan's arms, crying, Brother Tingwen, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have caused a scene at the wedding. But you believe me, that paternity test report must be fake. Su Qingyan, that deliberately framed us. The child in my belly is your real child, the true grandson of the Fu family. Fu Tingwen now has nothing on his mind but Su Qingyan and the 2 twin sons. And after being tangled with Cyro like this, he suddenly feels troubled and irritable. He suddenly pushed Cyro away, his tone cold as he said, Don't come to bother me again. I have no mind to talk to you about these things now. The child in your belly, is it mine? Not necessarily. Sarah was scared by Fu Tinyuan's words, her face turning pale at once. Tingguanji, how can you say that to me? The child in my belly really is yours. Have you forgotten the times we spent together? How can you doubt me? Doubt you? So what? Fu Tingwen sneered. You've dated so many boys before. Who knows whose child is in your belly? In a few days, I'll take you to the hospital for a paternity test, and then we'll know the truth. After speaking, Fu Tinyuan stopped paying attention to Sairu and turned to leave. Sanairu stood there in a daze, tears streaming down nonstop. She knew Fu Tingwen no longer believed her, and the Fu family would not accept her either. If the child in her belly is really found not to be Fu Tingwen's, then she would be finished. I'm sitting on the sofa at the Paris estate, and loyally just told me the latest situation back home. I can't help but burst into laughter. Fu Tingwen, you're anxious now, aren't you? You regret now, aren't you? It's too late. Miss Su, Fu Tingwen has confirmed that the paternity test report is real and is now tracing your whereabouts through the flow of funds. Loyally said, but don't worry, I had already handled the flow of that 100 million in cash. They can't trace France. They'll only find an empty shell account in the United States. And in the end, it will be a futile effort. Well done, Loyally, I said with a smile. I just want him to not be able to find me, to be anxious and frantic. By the way, how's Song Yaro on your end? Has her scandal been released? It's already out there, Loyally said. I had people anonymously post online the multiple boyfriends she dated before, the affairs as a mistress, and the things that ruined other families. Now the internet is full of people cursing her. She has become a street corner rat. Everyone wants to beat her. Also, Fu Tingwen has said he will take Song Yaru to do a paternity test, and I guess there will be results in a few days. Fantastic. My heart felt a surge of satisfaction. I'll wait to see her show. I want to know for sure whether the baby in her belly belongs to Fu Tingwen. If not, then she's truly finished. After hanging up the phone, I walked into the nursery. Swansea and Su Xingran were playing with a small toy when they saw me come in. The two little ones immediately stretched out their tiny hands, wanting me to hug them. I picked them up, kissed their little faces, and smiled. Babies, that bad woman has already been punished, and that irresponsible father is paying for his actions. From now on, we will live here peacefully and quietly, and never worry about those messy things again. The two little ones seemed to understand what I said, giggling softly as they clutched my clothes with their small hands. Seeing their adorable faces filled me with happiness and contentment. Not long after, Mary walked in with a fruit tray, smiling and saying, "Miss Sue, the weather is so nice today. Shall we take the little ones to the manor's lawn to soak up some sun? It's good for their health." "Sure," I nodded, holding the two babies and following Mary onto the lawn. The sunshine warmly warmed my body, a gentle breeze blowing by, carrying a faint scent of flowers. The two babies lay in the pram, curiously watching everything around them, their little eyes bright. I sat on the bench on the lawn watching the two babies, thinking to myself, "Finding Sanaru, your nightmare has only just begun. I will keep you living in regret and pain forever. And I will, with my two babies, live a happy life in France, what you owe me. I will take back little by little, and I will never let you feel good again." At that moment, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar international number. I frowned and answered. A voice that was both familiar and strange floated through the call. "Fu Tingwen suing Yen. Is that you?" Fu Tingwen's voice carried a hint of excitement and urgency. "I know it's you. Where are you? Where did you hide my two sons? Return them to me now." I heard Fu Tingwen's voice, and a cold smile curved at the corner of my mouth. "Fu Tingwen, you finally found my contact information, but you wish me to hand the child back to you. Dream on. Fu Tingwen, long time no see," I said in a flat tone. "Do you have something to tell me? Sui Qing Yen, you really are alive." Fu Tingwen's voice became more agitated. "Where are you now? Bring Su Yanzi and Su Xingran to me so I can take a look. They're my sons. I have the right to see them." "Your sons?" I sneered. "Fu Tingwen, are you sure you understand this correctly? Su Yanzi and Su Xingran are my sons. They have nothing to do with you. It was you who wanted a divorce from me. You drove me away, and now you want to acknowledge the children again. Do you think that's possible? I know I was wrong. Qing Yan, I really know I was wrong." Fu Tiny Yuan's voice carried a touch of choking. "I shouldn't have divorced you. I shouldn't have believed that B***. Sonyo, can you come back? Let's start over. I'll take good care of you and the two kids. I'll give you the best life. Start over." I laughed even colder. "Fu Tingyuan, do you think there's any possibility we can start over? When you hurt me, did you ever think about today? When you were affectionate with Sanyu at the wedding, did you ever think about me and the child?" Now, saying these is too late. After I finished speaking, I didn't wait for Fu Tingwen to reply. I hung up directly, then blocked this number. After hanging up Fuang Yuan's call, I tossed the phone aside and sat on the lawn with Su Xingran to sunbathe. The little guy's chubby little hands gripped my fingers, babbling softly, adorably melting my heart. But I knew in my heart the domestic farce wasn't over yet. Sure enough, within half an hour, Lawyer Lee's call came in with a hint of spectator excitement in his tone. "Miss Sue, you didn't see the scene just now. Sonu has completely lost it. She knows that Master Fu can't reach you and heard that the Fu family plans to take her for a paternity test. So, she rushed to the Fu family's old residence and caused a huge ruckus, turning the Fu family upside down." I raised an eyebrow. squeezed the baby's hand a little tighter, and asked with a smile, "Oh, what's she throwing a tantrum about? Tell me in detail. Don't even mention how wonderful that scene was." Lawyer Lee's voice carried a sense of satisfaction. Sonu came in wearing a dirty outfit, her hair bird's nest, rushing straight into the Fu family's old residence living room. She burst into tears the moment she walked in, crying out that Fu Tingwen was a heartbreaker and that the Fu family was bullying her. Fu Hongyuan and Lu Mei were at home discussing how to find you, and she blew up like this, nearly causing him to faint with anger. I leaned on the bench, and Su Yai and Ci also snuggled closer, gently petting the backs of the two babies while listening to Lawyer Lee continue speaking. Su cried out, saying the child in her tummy was Fuan Yuansen's that Fu Tingwen had promised when he pursued her, but now, because of Su Qing's two illicit children, he wanted to abandon her. She also said that Su Qing's twins were not Fu Tingyuan's at all, that Su Qingyan staged the whole thing to get revenge, and that Su Qingyan is calculating in a cruel woman. Fu Tingwen was in the old house at the time, as well being nagged until he had a headache and he argued with her. Fu Tingwen said the paternity test is real, that Su Yanxi and Su Xingan are his sons, and he said he would take Su to be tested to see whose child is in her belly. Upon hearing that a task would be done, Sinaru immediately panicked, crying more violently, saying Fu Tingwen doesn't trust her, that the Fu family all bully her. She even charged toward Fu Tingwen's face, wanting to die with him, but was stopped by the Fu family's bodyguards. The highlight was that Sairu, seeing that throwing a tantrum was useless, actually knelt on the ground, clung to Lu's leg, crying and begging Lu to spare her, begging Lu not to let Fu Tingwen break up with her, saying she would give birth to the child, male or female, and would be willing to serve Su Qing's two children. Lu, thinking she was dirty, kicked her away with one foot, saying the wild seed in her belly doesn't deserve to enter the Fu family's door. I couldn't help laughing aloud, for Sonia's current miserable appearance as a world apart from the smug look she wore at her wedding. Is this really everything she schemed to obtain? In the end, she ends up betrayed by everyone and shunned by all. Truly satisfying. And then I asked again later. Fu Tingwen really couldn't stand it anymore, so he had the bodyguards drag Sanguru out. Lawyer Lee said, but Sairu isn't easy either. When she was dragged out, she was shouting at the top of her lungs, exposing some of Fu Tingga's private matters with her, such as how he asked her out at a hotel back then, how he duped Su Qing Yan into going on a business trip, and how he schemed step by step to divorce Su Qingyan. The surrounding neighbors heard everything and pointed fingers. The Fu family's reputation was completely ruined, and also the people I arranged have already posted online the evidence that Song Yaru previously acted as a mistress and ruined someone else's family. Now the internet is full of her scandals, and people have dug up her old photos. She looks completely different from her current pure appearance. Heavy makeup, a scheming B** gauge. Many fans who previously wished her well are now cursing her, saying she deserves it and that justice is being served. There are even victims who had their families ruined by her who stood up and said how Sanuro initially poached her husband and how she drained money from her family. Now Sanguro has become a street rat. Wherever she goes, people curse her. Hotels won't even let her stay, and she can only hide in a small rental room. Great. A wave of satisfaction swept through me. This is the fate Song Yaru deserves for how she hurt me back then. Now she's being hurt by others in the same way. Truly karmic retribution at work. By the way, Miss Su, there is one more thing. Lawyer Lee's tone became a bit more serious. Fu Tingwen has already arranged for someone to conduct a paternity test for Saru, and the result should be out tomorrow. I've already given the institute a heads up. So, as soon as the results come out, I'll tell you at once. All right, thank you for your hard work, Lawyer Lee. I said, no matter the result, tell me at once. I want to see whether the child in Cyrus' belly is really Fu Tingwen's. No problem, Miss Su, Lawyer Lee said. In addition, Fu Tingyuan is still your whereabouts. He has been tracing the flow of billions for a long time, but hasn't found any clues. He's nearly going crazy. He even contacted Interpol, hoping to locate you through official channels. But I blocked him with a few measures, so he won't find you in the short term. I understand. I nodded. Not a ripple in my heart. Fu Tinyuan, no matter how urgent you are now, it won't help. I won't let you find me, and I won't let you disturb my life with the babies. I hung up the phone and looked down at the two babies in my arms. They were already asleep, their small mouths slightly open, breathing evenly. I gently kissed their foreheads and whispered, "Babies, that bad woman has been punished. She can't bully us anymore. From now on, we will live here peacefully, and Mommy will give you the best of everything. The sunshine in Paris is warm and gentle, warming me and the babies as it falls on us, bringing a trace of warmth." I close my eyes, enjoying this rare calm and happiness. I used to think that marrying Fu Tinyuan would be the start of happiness, but I never expected that it was only a nightmare. Now I have finally escaped that nightmare, and with my two little ones, I have begun a new life. Meanwhile, the domestic Fu family was in chaos. Fu Hongyuan, enraged by the wedding farce and Senyo making a racket at the old house, had a severe hypertensive attack and was admitted to the hospital. Lu, while taking care of Fu Hongyuan in the hospital, also had to deal with media questions and relatives pointing fingers, and she was overwhelmed with work. Fu Inyuan spends all day between the company and the detective agency, dealing with the negative fallout from the wedding farce and urging his subordinates to find my whereabouts. A few strands of his hair have whitened, and the man looks much more haggard. No longer the one stashing, spirited person. The worst offer. After being driven out by the Fu family, she had nowhere to go and could only hide in a dim, damp little rental room. Her phone was flooded with calls from online fans, mostly insults and calls and text messages. When she went out to buy something, she would be recognized and pelted with eggs, splashed with cold water, and cursed as a mistress and a vixen. She lives every day in fear and despair, knowing that as soon as Ferding Yuan's paternity test report comes out, she will be utterly finished. If the child in her belly is not Fing Yuan's, the Fu family will never let her off, and the people she has harmed will not let her off either. The next morning, Lawyer Li told me the results of the paternity test. "Miss Su, the results are in." Lawyer Li's voice carried uncontrollable excitement. "The child in Searu's womb is not Fuinu at all. The paternal probability is 0. After seeing the report, Fu Tingwen tore it up on the spot, and now he's sending people to find Senyaru, trying to settle accounts with her. "Really?" I exclaimed with joy, the thrill in my heart peaking. "Siru, you've got your comeuppance. You schemed to use the child to pin Fu Tingwen down to marry into a wealthy family. And in the end, you discovered that you weren't carrying the Fu family seed at all. This is nothing short of a colossal joke." "Absolutely true," Lawyer Li said. "I've already obtained a photocopy of the identification report, and it clearly states that the samples are from Sanyaru and Fu Tingwen. The paternity probability is 0. There's no mistake. Fu Tingwen is now completely collapsed. He never imagined. He'd been deceived so badly by Sanyaru. Not only did he divorce you, but he was humiliated at the wedding. And now he discovers he has raised someone else's child. His face has truly lost all face. Did the Fu family know about this?" I asked. "They know." Fu Hong Yuan heard the news in the hospital, almost jumped off the bed in anger, saying he'd smashed Cyrus into pieces. Lu was also furious, saying she had long known that the child in Cyrus' belly was a bastard, and now it's finally confirmed. Lawyer Li said, "Great," I said with a smile. "This is the fate Song deserves. She schemes and cunning, but in the end, she shoots herself in the foot. Serves her right. Yes, it's really satisfying," Lawyer Li said. "Now Cyrus has been found by Fu Tingwen's people. I hear Fu Tingwen has locked her in an abandoned warehouse to settle the score with her, but I'm not sure of the exact details yet. I'll tell you when I find out." "Okay, Lawyer Li," I said. "Thank you for your hard work. It's all thanks to you during this time." "Miss Su, you're too kind," Lawyer Li said. "I'm happy to help you get justice. Now, Fu Tingwen and Cyrus have both received the punishment they deserve. You can rest assured and raise the babies in France." After hanging up, I walked to the nursery, picked up the two babies, one in each arm, and walked around the room. Sunlight streamed through the window, shining on the babies' cute faces, and also on mine. I didn't pay much attention to Sonu's outcome. Lawyer Lee later told me that Fu Tingwen locked her in a deserted warehouse, letting her taste hardship. In the end, he found that besides the wild seed in her belly, she had no real use, and he dumped her by the roadside. It is said that Sairu was later avenged by people she had offended before. Not only did she lose her child, but she also went mad, wandered the streets begging, ultimately ruined when I heard the news. I was on the manor lawn teaching CNC and susing to walk. The two little ones had just turned 1, wearing matching little suits, tripping along with their short legs, occasionally tumbling into my arms with bursts of giggles. I held their soft little bodies, my heart calm and full of happiness, having no sympathy at all for San Yera's misfortune. This is all deserved by her. The road is of her own choosing, and naturally, she must bear the consequences. As for Fu Tingwen, after dealing with Song Yao, he behaved like a lunatic searching for me with increasing frenzy. He not only used all his connections and resources, but also posted missing person notices in media, both domestic and international, saying he regretted it and wanted to make amends with me and the children, even promising that if I returned, half of the food group's shares would be transferred to the two children's names. Lawyer Lee sent me photos of those notices. In the photos, Fu Tingyuan's hair was disheveled, his eyes worn and pale, no longer the spirited man he once was, looking several years older. But when I looked at him, there wasn't the slightest ripple in my heart, as if I were looking at a stranger. That afternoon, I was telling a story to the two kids when a call from Lawyer Lee came through, his tone carrying a hint of helplessness. "Miss Sue, this time, Master Fu is truly anxious. Through an international law firm, he has sent you a letter from a lawyer demanding that you hand over custody of the two children to him and saying he has the right to have the children returned to the Fu family to live and enjoy the Fu family's resources." Custody. I sneer softly and gently place Su Xing run on the ground, letting him play with Suiani's building blocks together. What makes him think he can demand custody from me? He was the one who asked for a divorce, who drove me away, and now he wants the child. Dream on. Yeah, this is just wishful thinking, Lawyer Lee said. I've already looked over that letter from the attorney, and the reasons inside simply don't hold up. The two children have been with you since birth. You are their only guardian, and you have the financial means to support them. Fu Tingwen has absolutely no reason to take away custody. I understand. I spoke calmly. You help me respond to him. Tell him that Su Yanxi and Su Xingran are my children. They have nothing to do with him. He has no right to interfere in our lives if he wants custody unless I am dead. Okay, Miss Su, Lawyer Lee said. I will respond to him according to your wishes, so that he will give up completely. In addition, the Fu Group has been greatly affected by the previous wedding farce in Cyrus matter. Its stock price has plummeted. Many partners have withdrawn their investments, and Fu Hongyuan being angry has worsened his condition. He is still lying in the hospital, and the Fu family is now facing internal and external troubles. A complete mess. This is what they deserve, I said calmly. The Fu family's current plight was entirely the result of Fu Tingwen's actions. There was no one else to blame. I hung up the phone and walked over to the two children, watching them carefully stack the blocks, occasionally sharing their little toys with each other. My heart was full of consolation and pride. These two little guys are my whole world, the motivation for me to go on living. A few days later, Lawyer Lee told me that after receiving my reply, Fu Tingwen completely collapsed. He flew to France himself, trying to find me, but I had already arranged everything with Lawyer Lee. Fu Tingwen wandered around France for several days, but couldn't find any trace of me. In the end, he could only slink back to the country in defeat. It is said that after Fu Tingwen returned to China, he changed entirely, locking himself in his room every day, not going to work, not speaking like a walking corpse. When Fu Hongyuan learned of this in the hospital, he was furious to the point of fainting. Although he was revived, the illness took root and he could no longer manage the company. The Fu Group was leaderless, its stock price falling again and again, and was finally acquired by another company, with the Fu family thoroughly ruined. Once magnificent, the Fu family's downfall came from two Tingwen's momentary lapse in judgment, a fate that is truly lamentable. And I, along with Swenji and Su Xing, am living a happy and steady life in France with the 1 billion cash that Fu Tingwen gave me, and with the help of Lawyerly, I made many investments and earned a lot of money, enough for me and my 2 children to have food and clothing for a lifetime. I opened a small gallery in the heart of Paris where there are my own paintings and works by some young artists from China and abroad. Every day, I take my 2 children to the gallery, watching them run around and gaze curiously at the artworks. My heart full of happiness. Mary still takes care of our life. She looks after me and our 2 children so attentively, just like a family member. Sometimes we would visit various sites in Paris together. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, the Seine River. Every place has left us with our joyful laughter. Su Yanzi and Su Xinggan are growing up gradually. They are intelligent, sensible, and adorable and are loved by people around them. They know they don't have a father, but they never ask about it because I have given them enough love and a sense of security. I tell them that they are mommy's babies and mommy will always protect them. One day, I was walking with the 2 kids along the same river, and the sunset stretched our shadows very long. Senzi suddenly pointed toward a distant sightseeing boat and excitedly said, "Mom, look, that boat is so big." Su Xing echoed, "Yeah, Mom, we want to ride a boat, too." "Sure, we'll go on a boat tomorrow." I smiled and patted their little heads, my heart full of happiness. Just then, my phone rang. It was Lawyerly. "Miss Su, I have a piece of news for you. Fu Tinyuan committed suicide in his own apartment this morning." Lawyer Li's voice carried a calm note. I froze for a moment, but my heart showed no tumult at all, as if I had just heard news about an utterly unimportant person. "Oh, got it," I said calmly. "Fu's family has fallen completely. Fu Hongyuan and Lu may have also moved out of the old Fu residence and into a small house, living a very hard life," Lawyerly said. "Now, there's no one paying attention to the Fu family in the country. It's as if it's completely over and done with." "Over and done with is fine," I said loyally. "Thank you so much for these past days. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to walk to where I am today." "Miss Su, you're too polite," Lawyerly said. "This is what I should do. Now that everything is over, you can rest easy and take your 2 children to live your own happy life." "Yes, I will," I said with a smile after hanging up the phone. I held the 2 children's small hands and continued walking along the Seine. The afterglow of the sunset bathed us warm and beautiful. The past betrayal and hurt have become history. Those pains and grievances have long been washed away by time and happiness. I am glad that I didn't choose to cry out or cling, but chose to leave with 1 billion in cash and start a new life with the 2 children I won completely. Not only did I preserve my dignity, but I also made the person who betrayed me pay a painful price. More importantly, I have 2 lovely children in a happiness of my own. Fu Ting Yuan Sinru and the people of the Fu family. Your endings are all caused by yourselves. And I will carry my 2 babies and continue to live happily in this beautiful country from now on. There is no place for you in my life. I will use love and companionship to watch my children grow up and become outstanding people. This is the life I want most. The sunset gradually sinks, and the night slowly envelopes Paris. I hold the hands of my 2 children and walk toward home. The distant Eiffel Tower lights up, brilliant and dazzling, just like the future of me and my children, full of hope and brightness.